Laurel Highlands hiking trail, 70-mile ultra, 2025 recap, I guess. Um, it's going to be a little bit different from a normal race recap for me. Um, I didn't actually run the race on Saturday. Um, Decided not to start, so I DNS'd, did not start the race. Um, Kind of disappointed that I didn't start. Just really wasn't feeling it. Mentally sort of checked out. Uh, Thursday night in the Friday before the race even started and just mentally wasn't in it. I've had too many setbacks this spring and even winter of this year um, to actually compete in the race um, and put forth the effort that I normally would or want to. Um, they just recently as well had some of the issues with my eye, not being able to train as much, get out on the trails as much because not being able to see correctly, um, just not putting in the miles or the hills really set me back. More so even uh, since the Pittsburgh Marathon. So I guess being undertrained really wasn't smart for me to actually start the race. Um, I think I could have finished the race if I started it. Well, if I started the race, I was definitely going to finish it. Uh, no matter the wear and tear it would have put on my body. That would have been on a dry day, um, and I was willing to suffer through that on a dry day. But the weather looked really crappy and shitty. Looked like it was going to rain all day, and that's what really mentally checked me out from not wanting to do it. Um, I could suffer through, one element, the heat and stuff like that, um, you know, taking a toll on the body, but and being undertrained. But it's another thing being undertrained and then dealing with rain all day. I just really couldn't handle that 1-2 punch, I guess is what I'm going to call it, the undertraining in the rain all day. Um, and I knew I'd be miserable for, you know, 15, 16 hours to up to, 21, 22 hours. And being undertrained, I was just like, you're going to set yourself back so much more by trying to run the race than actually not starting. Um, but I did have fun. You'll hear in a second what I ended up doing. I ended up pacing uh, one of my friends in the evening slash night. That was actually really fun. I enjoyed that. Actually made my weekend, and you know, I don't know. I just really had a good time doing that. But um, so like I said, Thursday into Friday, I saw it was gonna rain basically all day Saturday. I'm like, man, please let the weather change. I can deal with the heat. Just let it not look like it's gonna rain all day. And then Friday, I went to bid pickup. I was looking at the rain all day at work Friday, even a bid pickup. I told some people, I was like, if it's raining, I'm not even gonna start because I don't think I could finish it in the rain, being undertrained. Um, I even told the one race director, if it's going to be raining all day, I'm just not even going to start. So it's going to be a game time decision for me. Um, so I sort of had it in the back of my mind Friday afternoon, evening that I was just not going to start. And it just sort of took its toll as the time went on, just mentally just saying, I don't know, or creeping back into the back of my mind and taking over, saying, you don't want to do this. You're not going to finish if it's raining. You're going to be miserable all day. And it just wasn't mentally strong enough to overcome that. Um, but I got everything ready Friday, had all my gear packed, my clothes laid out on the floor. The car was ready. My hydration pack was all filled up. All I had to do was catch a ride in the morning, um, put my gear on, my shoes on, and I'd be ready to go. So I did wake up. What time did I wake up? I think I woke up at like 3:30 um, to get ready. I told my dad to call me in the morning in case I changed my mind. I still was unsure at like 3:30 in the morning, 3:40 when he called me. I was like, we'll just go down. I'll figure it out on the way down if I feel like doing it or not. And I also think what really hurt was I only got like 4.5 hours of sleep. 5 hours, maybe tops. Not that that really matters for the 70. Not that I ever get much sleep. Not that that matters. Not that I'm nervous or anything. I just don't sleep right. Um, I never get to bed till like 10, 11 o'clock anyhow, every night for work. So being sleep deprived really probably didn't help me mentally get out of that funk of not wanting to do it. So as we drove down, I picked up my dad, who lives like a half mile away. Then we drove down, and I kept looking at the weather on the way down, and the whole rain band, like all morning, all day, looked like it was just going to go right in the middle of the course. Like it couldn't have, you couldn't have pictured um, a more perfect rain band. I don't want to say perfect, but like the rain band was just like perfectly supposed to be across the whole entire course all morning and all day long. And I was just like, there's no way I'm going to deal with this rain because some of it looked like it was going to be heavy and they were calling for thunderstorms and stuff like that. So on the way down, it kept creeping in more and more of being tired and stuff. I was like, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not going to start. So we pulled in Ohio Powell. I was like, you know what, Dad? I was like, I'm just not going to start. It's not going to be worth it to me, being miserable for 15 plus hours today, being undertrained. And he said he agreed. So I went and watched the start of the 70 miler, talked to some people beforehand, said, hey, if you need anything, get a hold of me during the day, and I'll come out and help you do whatever, pace you, get you gear, stuff like that. Uh, Wish some people luck and stuff like that at the start. Um, but my one friend, Shannon Mick, uh, she said she would like to have a pacer in the evening. She would get a hold of me. I talked to her husband a little bit, Steven. I gave him my phone number. I was like, hey, she needs me. Get a hold of me if you guys need anything, whatever. Talked to Aaron Watkins as well. Said, hey, if you and your brother need anything, get a hold of me. Just do what I can. So then I came home, took a nap, probably till like 4. So I probably got like 6 more hours of sleep. Finally got up, ran a couple miles, showered, and then I get a phone. I don't know, it was a phone call. No, I think he texted me. Hey, Shannon wants you to pace her later in the day. I forgot to message you earlier. So we arranged um, for him to pick me up at the finish line in Seward, and I was gonna pace her in from 271 on. Um, Luckily, I swear, could have been more perfect. Just getting out of the shower, I was putting on clothes um, to go up to the finish line to watch the top uh, finishers come in. Because Blake and Jesse and them, Deanna, we're all going to be coming in within like the next 20, 30 minutes, ETA wise. So I wanted to hurry up and get up there. And then that's when he messaged me. It's like, all right, I got all my gear in the car already. I'll just throw the clothes that I threw off this morning that I was wearing for race. I'll head up. Uh, I just happened to miss Jesse and Blake finish. Deanna was just coming in as I got there. Um, but as I pulled in, I went around the circle and came out. Usually, if you know the Route 70 or in Seward, mile 70 area, you know how it circles around. We usually park on both sides of the road exiting. Um, there was nobody on that right hand side exiting on the way out. I was like, all right, I'll just pull here, be the first one. Big mistake. As soon as I pulled in, it was just so swampy there. I started sliding. I tried to get out real quick, go forward. I couldn't do it. And I tried to back up real quick, and I just got more and more stuck. Um, so yes, I got my vehicle stuck in Seward at the finish line. So I was pissed because I was like, all right, Steven's coming. I got to get going. What am I going to do? So I called my dad. He came like 20 minutes later, and actually got the vehicle out. But as he came, uh, Steven came. So I was like, hey, Dad, I got to go. Can you, pull up a little out of the way, whatever. He got it under control. Uh, we got some pizza, Papa John's up in Westmont before we headed to 271. Got the 271, was there probably 40 minutes maybe. We weren't really sure what time she was going to come in um, at 8 station. So I got to talk to some people, hang out a little bit, watch people go by, uh, and gear up and get ready. I had a Celsius there and I really started feeling it. The caffeine really kicked in pretty quick. Um, up there because I knew I couldn't shut up. Um, I just kept talking to people, seeing how things are going, stuff like that. Uh, but it was fun hanging out there at 271 for a while. That's the same thing I would have did if I didn't pace her, as I would have just hung out at the finish line for a while. Then I was actually going to go watch fireworks and eat some really bad, like carnival type food. So I'm glad she wanted me to pace her so I didn't indulge in a bunch of shitty food all night. So she came in about dark at 271. Um, so you got about 13 miles left into the race. um, I had my waist belt on. It's like 800 looms from Ultra Spire. Then I had my new Phoenix headband on, which also has like 800 to 1,000 lumens. Um, so I was lighting up the trail pretty good for her, from behind. So she had her waist belt, so I was, um, expanding the trail a little bit on the sides and stuff like that. Pretty good time. She was running pretty good, even for that late in the race. It was a beautiful night. I can't tell you how beautiful it was. It was a little bit humid, but it still wasn't overly hot. At the pace we were going, it's not like we were just like completely like drenching ourselves from humidity from the rain earlier in the day because it did stop. I guess I did forget to mention that. Um, it rained for a few hours. It was actually raining on the way down to Ohio Pile in the morning, and even before the race started. And I was like, man, it's supposed to at least rain for the next 3, 4 hours. That was another decision. I was like, it's gonna at least rain for 3, 4 hours the start of the race. I was like, I'm just not dealing with that. But it did end up quitting after that, I guess. At least that's from what people told me. But then it did come back on a couple of times. It went on and off all day. Um, so it would have been one of those um, miserable things where you're wet, then dry, then hot and humid, and all that sort of fun stuff. Um, so I don't regret well, I do regret not racing it, but at the same time, it was a smarter decision for me now. Especially because I got the pace, and I really, like I said, I really enjoyed that. It was a beautiful night being out on the trail, getting some miles in. The Laurel was in bloom. I have not seen the Laurel look that nice or good before. I always miss it. Or if I do see it, it's only through the tunnels. But there was so much along the trail, just complete and full bloom. It was just beautiful, especially in the night. Um, just the way the sun hit it, it just was immaculate. So I was very happy. The footing was really good. I did ask somebody how the footing was from 271 in, and they said it was pretty solid, a lot better than what it was earlier in the day. So I was definitely happy with that. It really wasn't muddy. There was a few muddy spots, maybe 5, 10 feet here or there, um, but you could avoid it. I'm thankful for that. So I didn't get like completely saturated in mud. Not that I would have cared. Um, it just would have made things a lot messier and to clean up later. Um, we didn't see any wildlife. I did hear a couple like owls or something, or birds or bats in the distance. I know there was a couple bats that I heard fly over me. Did get attacked by a couple bugs though. Hit my chest, probably coming into my light. I think one went around my earlobe or whatever. We didn't chase any deer away. Um, but yeah, it was a pretty good time. I enjoyed it. I took some pictures and some clips of her at some of the cool spots, like going through the tunnels at the power line. Uh, the only bad part was the view for Johnstown. Um, it was a little too foggy up that way, so you couldn't really see the perfect view at night, and all the lights lit up. Um, so that was the only downfall to that. Um, and it did get a little foggy, but it was more like a morning fog than a heavy fog, I guess is what you want to call it. But you could still see the trail pretty well. It's just with that fog or the evening mist, I think kept things cooler and your body more moist throughout the night for everybody who was still running at night. Um, but yeah, it was a good time. I only had to stop and pee one time. Um, saw a couple other people out on the trail, give them some hints and tips the rest of the way. She was on her A game. She knew what she needed. Uh, She blew through like aid station 271 within 5 minutes, and even that last aid station 8, she was in and out in 5 minutes. So it's one of those things. So, some people like to be at aid stations for 10, 20 minutes. She was like in and out. She was on a mission to finish. She finished in what, under 20 hours or something. Whatever it was, I know whatever the Western States qualifier time frame is, she was under that. So I think it was like 19 hours, 19 and a half, somewhere in that range. Um, so I took some more pictures of her coming into the finish line at mile marker 70. Um, and I hung out at the finish line for about an hour, talked to some more people, watched people come in, saw my friends. I was talking to them. So overall, it was a good night. Um, And I did enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoyed pacing. I enjoyed talking to people at 271 and even at the finish line. I think I enjoyed the finish line a little bit more this year, um, just because I didn't run the race, so I wasn't there suffering all sore and bent over like the rest of the people who ran the race were. Um, so it made things a little bit nicer from that perspective. So I wasn't there just slouching around, half asleep. But whatever. I did enjoy it. So that was sort of my race recap that from a race that I actually didn't race. Um, Even though I was supposed to run it, I just DNS'd it. Did not start. Um, I did have a plan going in to this race. Um, this I've ran it 5 times and finished all 5 times. Um, my goal was going into the race was because this would have been number 6, and if I would have ran it every year after that, uh, I would have got my 10th year of running it on the 50th anniversary, and I thought that would be cool to do, or say I did. So I did sort of screw that up, and now I uh, can't get my 10th on the 50th, so that goal's sort of out there. And then the whole goal of getting or finishing 10 times might be thrown out now. I just might stick to like the 50K or the relay to mix it up a little bit, have some more fun in a different manner. Even though I still like to say I would have liked to have done it 10 times, be a 10-time finisher, but don't think that's going to probably happen now. My one buddy um, actually finished it. This was his 6th, and I actually challenged him to finish what I was going to do, 10 finishes for the 50th anniversary. Um, I guess he's going to see if he can do that challenge. So that'd be just something cool to do or have somebody accomplish. Um, Other than that, it's about it. I know a couple other people pulled in to where I got stuck, because you could see the ruts. And I know one person, when after I got stuck, she tried to pull, and I was like, get out of here quickly before your vehicle stinks." Um, and she thanked me for that, because she didn't pull in enough where she sunk. She still had some tire on the road, but um, just one of those things. Just hearing people finish, how their race went, how the day went. Um, and like a couple other people said, this is a 70-mile race, but it runs like a 100-miler. I know what they're saying, but I can't explain why it's like that. I don't know if it's the time of year, the way the hills are early on, how it's more front heavy in the first 19. You get like 6,000 feet of gain in that first 19 miles and only 5,000 in the last 51. I don't know why, but I agree with them. This runs more like a 100-miler than a 70-miler. Could be the humidity as well. Um, it's just how hot it usually is and dry. Just one of those neat things that I want to try to figure out, um, why I can never have a good race at the Laurel Ultra. I think I just go too fast every year and just burn out too quick in the heat, humidity, and the hills. That little trifecta um, of punishment. But who knows? Um, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll do the fall classic, but right now I'm just so undertrained of doing anything kind of distance. I actually backed out of the Rachel Carlson Trail Challenge this coming weekend because I don't think I can even do 36 miles with 8,000 feet of gain, um, as undertrained as I am. So until I figure it out, I'm not really going to race anywhere. I do think it was the right decision to back out, because I think it just would have put me farther behind health wise and mental wise. Um, Even though I do miss the race and not doing it, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions. But at least I had a good day, and I'm glad I paced Shannon because it really did make my weekend. Um, Otherwise, I probably would have been miserable all weekend. So thank her for that. Just thank the two aid stations that I got to hang out at in the finish line, and Red Point for putting on another good race. So other than that, I guess that's about it. And see you.